Well, the TEACHaR program was first implemented by Anglicare Victoria in about 2012, and at the heart of the program is a holistic, flexible approach to practice. So what it does is employ experienced teachers, and they work directly with kids in out-of-home care. That work is really flexible, so it takes place within the school setting, within the out-of-home care setting, so within the foster carer's home or the residential care house. And it can really involve a range of things. So they might do one-on-one support in the classroom, they might help with reading and writing. However, given what we know about kids in care and some of the struggles that they experience, the interventions can also be really flexible. So it can include music, cooking, building some kind of electronic set. It really is about engaging, in terms of where the kids' interests lie.
You've talked a bit about flexibility, the flexibility of the program, of the teachers. How important is that? Is that perhaps the difference between TEACHaR and just the assistance of a regular teaching aid?
Yeah, for sure. I think also the fact that these are registered experienced teachers, so whilst they go in there and they can provide that one-on-one support that perhaps an aide or even a tutor could provide, these are also teachers who can take over a classroom. They also have very strong knowledge and understanding of systemic school issues, so they can be really strong advocates. And I think particularly for this client group that's really important. Often within care we have children who are highly disengaged from school, who may not have attended school for years, and often the work of the teacher is to be able to try and support that reintegration back into the school system, and being able to, I think quite gently but also expertly sort of advocate for that extra support within the school system.
Why does this particular group of children who've lived in out-of-home care, need this extra support?
In terms of previous experiences before children enter the care system, often children move between schools more often. The impacts of neglect and trauma can mean that actual attendance in school, support for learning can be really disrupted. Also, the actual capacity to concentrate at school, to I suppose keep up with the class can be I suppose interrupted. And then there are factors associated with the care system too. Children in care have been found to move between schools, often because they are required to move between placements, so the actual care system can have an impact there as well.
Looking at the report itself, which areas of these children's educational experience saw the most improvement or the most important improvement from your perspective?
Yeah, I think we've found some really clear impacts in terms of the out-of-home care education partnering agreement. That's an agreement between the Department of Human Services, or Health and Human Services, and the Department of Education and Training, which has really aimed to support and increase the support available to children in care in schools. So we've seen some really great changes in the amount of children with student support groups, individual learning plans, and also mentors, and I think a really increased understanding of the education agreement by schools. I think we've seen improvements too around engagement and attitudes to learning, and I think that that's a really important bridge. Whilst attendance is great and also we want to see improvement, I think engagement and attitudes, hard workingness, that kind of stuff really is almost the actual precursor to be able to achieve and to actually to reach one's potential. That said though, in terms of overall academic achievement, we've also seen improvements there over 12 months, which has been fantastic.
The program works closely with children in residential care units, which is a fairly specific teaching and living environment. How successful do you think it has been?
I think what we've found is that in residential care, school engagement and school attendance is certainly can be far lower than what we find perhaps in kinship care or foster care settings. We also often find that children move into residential care, they may not be engaged in school, they may not even have a new school enrolled sort of planned. So we found it really important to try and prioritise and engage with those children as soon as possible. So the role has been, in many cases, a lot more systemic, sort of being a bridge to support that actual transition process, but also to really focus on developing that one-on-one rapport with the child as a way of preparing them for school. So doing a lot of informal learning activities to try and also involve residential care staff in that too. So it's been very much a team approach. For example, staff have facilitated homework groups and peer groups with children across units, and they've also facilitated training for staff as well to be able to run those supports as well.
And do you feel that overall TEACHaR is achieving what it set out to do?
Yeah, I think it has. I mean, whilst obviously you know, more research is always great, I think we've found that over you know, this last 2 years that the program really is quite unique, and it has actually we've had some really great outcomes, and across a number of domains, you know, in terms of achievement, attendance, feeling better and more positive about school, and I think also in terms of barriers, children and young people feeling more capable, and I suppose feeling more aspirational in terms of what they have the capacity to achieve.
Laura, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you, Susan.